If the financial manager, through some financial modeling or trends, through from currency exchange, reviews, from news, he found out that the peso, which is the Mexican currency, is going to be depreciate after 6 months or after 1 year, and company wants to have fund of more, for example, $10 million. So he will definitely, if ask the Mexican banks to give loan in peso and then convert back into US through some currency exchange. I'm just writing down forex here, right? So after 1 year, what happened? The peso exchange rate go down, and then it needs fewer fewer dollar to satisfy the loan taken in Mexican currency, which is in peso, right? So I can say that the unprecise example gonna be that, for example, if MNC asks $10 million loan and the rate is, for example, 7, the peso is equal to, sorry, $1 is equal to 7 pesos. So how much loan they would be asking for? They would be asking for 70 million pesos, right? So 70 million pesos converted into US dollar, they will be getting out $10 million. After 1 year, the peso is more depreciated, which means peso is, for example, depreciated to 8. After 1 year, $1 is equal to 8 pesos, and now they have to pay, for example, with 10% interest, which means they have to send them how much? 77 million peso, right? After 1 year. But after 1 year, what happened? Peso is depreciated, and now rather having $1 is equal to 7 peso, now the dollar, now $1 is 8 peso. So look at that. You convert the same money, $10 million, and that will be converted into 80 million pesos. So after 1 year, you were supposed to return them 77 million, and what did you do? You did nothing, just to use that $1 million for 1 year. Sorry, $10 million for 1 year, and after 1 year, due to this depreciation in peso, so you just, if you even you converted the principal amount, that is even more than the principal plus the interest rate, right? So shrewd manager, wise manager, intelligent managers, this is their job to minimize the cost of funding. So this is also one of the best way to borrow money from which country? That country in which the currency is expected to depreciate against their home currency, not against some yen or yuan, because you are in US. If you are in US, you want to ask loan in dollars, so you will always look for that country in which currency is depreciated against dollar. Okay, let's move forward. So the origin and development of the money markets. So European money markets. So one thing that is important here, and that is that the dollar deposits in the banks in Europe or other continents, they are called euro dollars or euro currency. So it means the dollar is not saved with the US banks. It is the dollar that are saved with outside USA or America. We call that euro dollars. So that is a term that is very famous in 1960s and 70s, and that becomes a norm. And if you turn on the news, you will find out that the euro dollars is like, so whenever you turn on the news and you think about or heard about this European money market, they will always talk about this, that the euro dollar reserves are increasing. What does it mean? It means a company is increasing its reserve in dollars, not in their home currencies. For example, Greek, or it's not increasing its currency reserves in euro. They are increasing their reserves in dollars. So euro dollars means the dollars that are outside the US and saved with the some kind of institution. Okay, so the origin of the European money market can be traced to the euro currency market that developed during 1960s and 70s. So you are not required to go into details on all these historical lessons. So the objective is just to understand that what is euro dollar and how we can use these euro dollars, and how we can interpret these euro dollars. What does it mean about the euro currency and euro dollar? So Asian money market, the center is in Hong Kong and Singapore. So it is originated as a money market involving mostly dollar denominated deposits. They also attract foreign investments through dollar accounts. So you don't have to convert the money into Hong Kong dollar or Singaporean dollar. You just transfer the dollars, and your account is open, and they're going to be paying you interest on all those stuff in the form of dollar. So it is also called Asian dollar market, right? So the money market interest rates among currencies is that the money market interest rate in a particular country are dependent on the demand for the short-term funds by the borrowers relative to the supply of available short-term funds that are provided by savers. It's a very fancy line, right? But the explanation is that the money market interest rate, that the short-term interest rate depends on demand and supply. Who creates demand for the money? Borrowers. And who are provider of those loans? They are called savers. So it's not like that the money is needed for short-term use, so the interest rate going to be lower. No, it depends on the market force of demand and supply. So the money market rates, they vary due to differences in the interaction of total supply of the short-term funds available in a specific country versus the total demand for short-term funds in the borrowers in that country. So the explanation is that a country, or let's take the example of banks. You go to the banks, you save your money. You have two types of accounts. One is saving accounts and current account, right? So if in a country all the people have saved their money for long-term purposes, then banks, in order to match their time horizon, for example, if I save my money with the bank for 5 years, so bank would be more interested to lend my money to the company for 5 years, so that the time horizon is matched. Rather, it is interested to give the money to a short-term purposes. For example, I invested my money for 5 years. What if bank gave the money for 2 years? So after 2 years, the bank has to reinvest for 3 more years, right? So in order to match this 5 year time horizon, so that is would be very difficult for the bank to give loan on yearly basis and to find out matching for my individual needs. This is just one person, so bank has in millions and millions in person, and he has to make in sorry he has to match this time horizon. So if in a country people are saving money, for example 2 year or 1 year, right? So if more people are saving with the money for 1 year, then bank have more supply of the money for 1 year, for 2 year, for 2 year, for more year, for more year. So these two bullet points, they are saying that the interest rate depend on supply. If supply is higher, interest rate will be lower. If supply is short, then interest rate would be higher, right? Here we go. So this is the comparison of money market interest rates in different countries as well. So this is 1 year interest rate in Japan. It is below 1%. In United States it is 1%. In United Kingdom it is 2%. What does it mean? This is the rate of pound short-term short-term loan in pound is 2%, right? It means the companies in United Kingdom, they need you know to satisfy their current liabilities or short-term liabilities, so that's why they are asking loan from the banks. And look at in Brazil, they there the short-term interest rate is 10%, and it is possible that the short-term interest rates are higher and long-term interest rates are lower. Why? Because that depends on demand and supply, right? So in Brazil, so maybe there is a liquidity crunch over there, and Brazilian companies, they need to pay salaries, the short-term commitments, and they don't have